Solma has had chance to have a cuppa after her first meeting. I can't see Solma on the screen yet. Good evening, Solma. Thanks for joining us.
Can you see me?
Would you be okay now to give your contribution to this meeting?
Yes, I can. I can
Okay.
start.
Thank you for joining us. The floor's yours.
Okay, thank you. I've just come back from your party Clacton meeting with few of the Clacton members and Jeremy Corbyn. So yeah, we're going to fight with Beanface, I think. So anyway, thank you for inviting me to this talk because I've been thinking lately very much on this subject. How do left get together? Because all I see is fragmentation, and frankly, I'm really exhausted by fighting amongst ourselves. Amongst the left, and sometimes the fighting is healthy, but when it gets no result, that's when it becomes frustrating. Because what I want to do, I want to spend more of my time fighting the fascists, fighting the homelessness, fighting the poverty, and all of that. Let me tell you what happened this weekend. Which really rattled me. There was this Muslim gathering in Ipswich, Suffolk, and you might have heard about it. And most of my family's members joined in because it was, Muslim gathering across the country, and some also came from abroad. And it was a very peaceful kind of event. My husband, my family members were there, and my husband came back saying, "Oh, children are playing cricket and football, all of that." But then suddenly, Sunday morning, we got a bomb alert, and there were 12 people being arrested for, I think they were planning some kind of Norway kind of attack on it. So, I want to concentrate on those things because I can see in Clacton, in Colchester, what's happening over the last 6 weeks is every Tuesday, the fascists are congregating at about 7 o'clock now, front of the Castle Park that we use for the Palestine campaigning. So, my friends, I'm really exhausted with the infights that are going on. Many of you know what's happening with your party and how, we have been losing our focus because all of us left. We know, what we have in common. We know our fight is against the fascist and the right wing and dealing with the poverty and so on. So, why are we so fragmented when it comes to us working together? Why is, people think, my organization or my ego is the best one, and yours is, you have this little dirty mark on you and that little dirty mark on you, and I can't work with you. That is wrong. Why are we bogged down on all of those things? And also, I have seen people bogged down on theories of Marxism, Leninism, and whatnot. I am not interested in those kind of argument. I am interested in if my next door neighbor is able to eat, if the next door neighbor is able to go to a GP appointment, and if my family are safe and secure in this country. I am worried about how yes, somebody said, how capitalism has taken over our lives. I want to concentrate on socialism, real socialism. Some of you probably would not like me mention China. I went to China recently and I saw myself what could, socialism, or they call it communism. For me it's socialism, how that can eradicate poverty. They did it for 800 million people, and we can do that same here. So my friends, what I would say to you, there are things that we have so much in common, and I've talked about that. And what we need to do, and because it's been boggling my mind, how do we get the left working together? And I think I came on when people were talking about trust. But for me, it was a relationship management. Number one is how do we manage our relationship going forward, because that is so important at the moment. What's going on in your party at the moment, we are trying to manage factions with building up relationship with individuals, because we know we have things in common. We know we want to make this party, socialist party, successful. So let's begin to work on that. So we are working on our relationship. And I think this is what, on Democratic Bloc, WhatsApp, and few other WhatsApp, what I'm seeing, that we have so much in common. And how do we just, manage to build that relationship amongst us without sort of thinking that's the difference we have. We don't need to talk about the differences at the moment. We talk about what we have in common. So that's one thing, relationship management. And the other thing is factions. Yeah, I have touched on factions. Yes, we have factions. So what? That's a good thing. The good thing, because it challenges us to think differently. It challenges us to think about what that person said, and you start to think about it, and you believe, yes, they are right when they challenged me. So we can work within that factions so long as we know how to come together to solve a problem. It means, we stop assuming the worst of each other. The worst of each other. We don't have to think like that. We just have to think that person making a comment because they care, because they want to see change, because they want to make things happen. So relationship, and where we can talk with deal with the factionalism, and that's how we build movement. We just have to remember that we don't let our personal ego, and often it is ego, I'm afraid, that holds us from uniting, holds us from working together. I have found it is ego, and we need to do away with the ego when you think about people first, and what and how people are suffering. Forget about your egos, concentrate on what needs to be done as a country, because the country is in a very dire situation. Starmer going, that's wonderful. But he's going to be replaced by Andy Burnham, who means the same thing. His statement on Gaza, does he think I should be proud of his statement on Gaza? He not even prepared to say it's genocide. So it's the same old thing that we are going to face with Labour, unless we really come together and organize together and campaign together. And so we have to we have to think about how do we build relationship with each other? How do we deal with factions? Factions that, is a healthy thing, I would say. I would say, so long as we get to the end goal. And the other is do away with the ego, please. Otherwise, we are not going to survive. We are not going to become a movement, socialist movement, and we are not going to be able to work together. And the other thing, working together, is bad. Don't get involved with organization, prescribe them, don't go to their meetings. And that's what happened to us. That's three of us, Mel, Naomi and me, because we just attended. Well, one of us didn't even attend. I just attended, Social Federation because I wanted to see. I was nosy. I wanted to see what they were about. Mel spoke. So is that wrong? We can't do this. When we talk about democracy and free speech and freedom, we can't stop people from attending meetings just because they want to be there. Because mostly I attend meetings because I want to hear and I want to learn. I want to learn what's going on. So I would say a challenge that we have is let's spend less time asking who is right. Let's spend more time asking what is right. And let's, I am also suspicious of people. Let's stop being suspicious about people and start talking to people. And some of the people in your party has amazed me because I started talking to them. They reached out to me, I reached out to them, and then they understood me, and I understood them where they were coming from because they were suffering just like me. Just like me, I was suffering being on that committee. So we really need to get away from that kind of thinking, and we really, one of my, I don't, I want to see your party successful, but I want to see more that us left are successful, us left are working together. And that's why I'm here with you guys. Because I love the title you gave. And we have to work together. We have no choice, really. Otherwise, we are facing dire situation in this country. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Solma. I really appreciate your contribution, and thanks for doing 2 meetings tonight as well.